Yes, you guys, welcome back. In today's News Daily video, I'm going to discuss some massive, ambitious, big name players for a big name manager. Now, you guys, we know the reports. We know that from next season, Thomas Tuchel has been tasked with mounting a title challenge for next season. The boards, they've spent a ton of money. They have more ambitious plans to spend even more to have a squad, a first 11 team that is worthy of challenging for honours on all fronts. And in today's News Daily video, I'm going to discuss the latest reports in regards to David Alaba, a long-term target of Thomas Tuchel. And on top of that, you guys, Jadon Sancho interest does reignite. So I'm going to break down the big story today, and I'm going to discuss a predicted lineup in regards to what our potential title challenging team could look like for next season. So you guys, it's going to be a massive News Daily video, and without wasting any more time, let's start things with the first story, and I want to discuss the latest updates in regards to David Alaba. We seem destined to sign some big name players this summer, and one name that constantly keeps resurfacing is David Alaba. Now, these reports have come from the Telegraph, from writer Jacob Steinberg, and he reports that Thomas Tuchel wants us to sign Alaba in the summer. We know for a very long time that Alaba has already confirmed that he is leaving Bayern Munich. I mean, he's confirmed that, the club have confirmed that, and reports have suggested that Real Madrid are currently the favourites. However, during the start of the January window, maybe reports were a bit too premature, implying that Alaba had already agreed a pre-contract agreement with Real Madrid. It seems like they are still some steps away. Madrid have not confirmed the future of Sergio Ramos at this point in time, so in a sense, it seems like that is possibly delaying any move for David Alaba. In steps Tuchel, and you guys, Tuchel has been a long-term admirer of David Alaba, making multiple attempts at Paris Saint-Germain to try and entice the player to sign for them, for very good reason, because he is a world-class defensive player. A player of his standards, of his experience, of his world-class ability is available on the free, then it makes a ton of sense as to why we are going to be heavily interested in signing him. So you guys, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions, and immediately, straight off the bat, Alaba is a world-class player. There's no denying that. There's no debating that. If you want to mount a title challenge for next season, then you need to sign an experienced defensive player of world-class ability that's ready to mount efforts on all fronts when it comes to winning trophy. And one thing that makes Alaba extremely attractive, especially for a club like us, is that he is available on a free. Now, this becomes particularly interesting to a club like us with an owner like Marina, because when you sign a player on a free, they can be accounted for very easily on the club's books because their player cost per year is literally just their wages. Now, when it comes to signing Alaba, considering that there is no transfer fee, meaning that we don't have to account for that over the years, all we have to do is pay him whatever wages he wants, pay him whatever signing on bonus he wants, and of course, whatever wage fees that his agent in Pini Zahavi wants. And with Pini Zahavi, he played a big part in helping Tuchel sign for us. So, in that sense, this deal does not become too impossible. Consider we have the finances, consider we have an exciting project to offer the player, consider we have the Premier League too. You know, I do feel like there is a possibility that we definitely have it in us to pull this signing off. I mean, it's not the first time we've been signing players recently where other clubs have been leading the race more to sign these guys, only for us to come in and make it happen. You know, that transfer ban really came through for us at the right time, you guys, considering that our other European rivals can't spend the same way that we can. It does feel like signing Alaba would be one of the best signings to make, because consider the fact that he could also play down the left-hand side of a back three. Consider that he can play as a wing-back and a full-back to a world-class level, and let's not forget that he can also play in midfield too. I do feel like we could offer Alaba more varieties of positions to play in compared to what other teams could do. I think if he was to sign for Real Madrid, he'd be playing exclusively more as a defensive player, but I think playing for us, he'd have more of a license, more of a freedom to express himself, and I don't know, it just feels like this signing would be the key one to make due to his price and his world-class ability. So you guys, in the comments below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Are you here for Alaba? Would he be the signing you'd make? If so, state why, and if not, state your reasons too. And now you guys, we end things with a big story today, and that's the latest news surrounding Jadon Sancho and the club's reignited interest to sign him this summer. Now, the Sancho story is quite interesting, you guys. Of course, media publications from this country. I'm going to discuss the original article from German publication Sport 1. Now, one of the big things that's affected Dortmund financially has been COVID. Due to COVID, they're facing a potential deficit of minus 75 million euros, which for a club of Dortmund's size is something that they can't afford. Now, currently at this point in time, they have sacked their previous manager in Lucien Favre. He has been replaced by their assistant manager in Edin Džerkin, and Dortmund are considering selling one big name prize asset in this next summer window to, of course, not only help balance the books of the club, but to also help reinvest into other areas in the team. Now, considering there's news that Danny Rose could potentially take over Dortmund for next season, you need to give him the money to reinvest in the team so he can get his ideas working. So it seems like either Jadon Sancho or Haaland are going to be sold in this next window. With Sancho's contract that does expire in 2023, and with Haaland, his contract expires in 2024. However, he can be sold next year because he has an exit clause of around 75 million euros. However, between Sancho and Haaland, Sancho is more likely to be sold, probably guaranteed to be sold in this next window. Of course, he was close to signing for Man United in a 120 million deal, which collapsed in the final few moments because I guess the finances made no sense. So Dortmund understand that when they sell Sancho this window, they can't sell him for the same value, considering that COVID means that they have to sell. They have to generate the money. And of course, if you sell one of the big guys, if you sell a Sancho, that 80 million that they're commanding can be heavily reinvested back into their team. Now, of course, it makes even more sense why Dortmund would sell Sancho because, during the first half of the season, his form dips a bit, his weight was a bit off, and it's kind of natural. When you have your head set on a move in the summer and that falls through, it can be hard for players to get back to full speed and get back to that full professionalism. I mean, it happens every single time, so I'm not going to hold that against Sancho. And regardless of his form at the start of the season, since the new year, he stepped up. And anyway, his stats are still good. In around 17 appearances in the Bundesliga, yeah, he's got 3 goals, but he has 7 assists, and he still remains a key player at Dortmund. Now, there's even more pressure on Dortmund because their season has not been too great, and if they missed out on UCL football, this could be a financial disaster for their club. This could mean that they'd be forced to sell even more players, and considering that we've had a very long-term interest in Bellingham as well, who knows what could happen if things turn sour at Dortmund. Regardless though, it seems like Sancho is destined to leave Dortmund this summer because Dortmund, they're looking at signing Memphis Depay. They're looking at Marlon at PSV, 2 excellent Dutch players who could definitely fill that role left by Sancho. And now, you guys, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions because I'm sure the question that's on all your minds, including myself, is, okay, let's say, Nini, this happens. We come through, we try and make a bid to sign Sancho and he signs for us. Isn't it a bit mad that we want to sign more attacking players considering that we are stacked with offensive players, considering that we need to reinvest into other areas in the team too? I mean, surely the club's taking this a bit too far now. They're starting to treat things like this is a FIFA career mode. It's like, what's happening? Now, of course, you guys, there are some potential hypotheticals if we are to sign Jadon Sancho, and immediately my first thing in my head is that if you target Sancho, it means that you're implying that you're selling some players in the team, and not just any backup players, but you're considering selling some potential to sign someone that you feel could help you challenge for the title for next season. Now, from this part, you guys, you're going to see my predicted lineup in regards to how I think this could work using Tuchel's existing 3-4-2-1 system. And, I'm sure it's going to be updated as time goes on, as we get even closer to the summer window. This is just a bit of a hypothetical in regards to this story and what could happen if we sign Sancho. But as you can see, I've gone for Kai as a false 9. Alongside him, I've gone for Mount, Sancho. In midfield, for now, I've gone for Kante and I've gone for Jorginho. As wing backs, I've gone for Hudson-Odoi and I've gone for Ben. And in defence, I've gone for Alaba. I've gone for Upamecano, I've gone for Reece James, and I've gone for Mendy in goal. Now, I'm going to keep stressing this, you guys. This is only a current hypothetical for now based on the reports and the news, based on the fact that we're in the market to sign at least 2 defensive players, potentially a big name midfield player, and potentially a big name attacking player as well. Now, if you were to fund moves for these players, then of course it implies that you're selling some key players too, and who could potentially go? Are you looking at maybe a Tammy Abraham and Giroud? Are you potentially looking at a Christian Pulisic who could be moved on for someone else? Even Ziyech being moved on immediately, who's, even though I feel like he's been good this season, he still needs a bit more time to show his full ability and his full strength. But regardless of that, you guys, look at the quality of squads in your Liverpools and your Man Cities, and they have players that could easily play first team football for them. So on that basis, we need to have the same caliber of squads to make that happen. For example, I've gone for Kai as a false 9 because maybe if you do potentially fund a move for Sancho, you're considering playing Kai more as a false 9 or more of a striker role, which he has shown that he can do many times during his days at Leverkusen. So, you know, I feel like when you look at Kai's raw attributes, I mean, I do feel like that false 9 role would suit him down to a T. And that defense too, Alaba down the left-hand side, Upamecano potentially, or even Asula playing in the middle of that role, Reece James playing as that auxiliary right-sided centre-back who has the license to get forward too, to become a makeshift fullback too. I don't know, I think potentially I could see something like this working, probably the only way I could see it working, to be honest. And you guys, I think I'm going to end things right now. We are going to spend big again this summer. I think that's a guarantee. How about desperate for the PL title? It's been a long time. Seems like all the plans, all the transfers are building towards having a team that can be ready to compete for the next 5 to 10 years on every single front. And considering the manager we have, the style, the projects, the league, the money we have, this doesn't even feel impossible. You know, you're looking at Upamecano. I think 42 million euros is like, what, 35 to 38 million. A free transfer in Alaba. You know, let's say Marina can do her magic when it comes to finding a potential way to, you know, sign Sancho for a more affordable fee. And considering that there's talks like even Kante, you know, he wants to go, he wants to leave. We could even potentially sell him and reinvest that money. And the amount of other players we have too that can be sold and reinvested in, it's not like we're going to sign 10 players in the next window, but we want to sign the very best for the targets we need. And I don't know, you guys, it seems like time's going to get very interesting. Let's see what happens this summer. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I'm EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later for some more videos.